Hello arm wrestling fans, this is the first episode of the new series called Legend DNA. Very short series because obviously not so many people could be considered as a legend, but my guest is the true legend. Please enjoy the episode with Ron Butt, and if you enjoy my videos and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Enjoy! Okay, arm wrestling people, I'm here with the legend Ron Butt. I'm very grateful that he find the time to have just a simple conversation about arm wrestling, how he's doing, and how is the legend life going on. Ron, I see you on the social media. You're having fun, singing songs, spending great trips with your strong wife. You're on the road. You met John Brzenk. How is the life going for you?
Oh, everything's going well. Coming back from my torn bicep, so we're doing some therapy. So I went and ended up catching up with John Brzenk and Daniel Mosier this weekend unexpectedly. They're at the same place, and we're getting some treatment done with some stem cell stuff on different parts of our old age body.
Okay, very interesting. So you are also into the stem cells train. Now you're catching up with Devon, Engin, and other guys. How was the treatment? Are you? It is painful. How went the treatment?
No, there's no real pain to it. It's a little bit different than what I think Ingen took. I know some people who went down to Taiwan or Tijuana and got it done. And, there's different ways of doing it. Basically, we just got an injection of stem cells and exosomes put in different areas that we had issues with, me being mainly my left elbow. And then I had some in my right shoulder where I had my pec injury about 4 or 5 years ago. And we'll see what it does. I don't think it's going to cause any harm, but everything I've heard and read, I think it's just going to help improve.
Yeah, I think that the final results. So it takes time until you see how the stem cells are working on your areas. Maybe in a couple of more months we should see some results. Hopefully, you're getting back. But back to the injury, Ron. How that happened exactly on the left side, right?
Yeah, I was over at Michael Todd's at the Monster Factory, and we were training and stuff and working out. And me, him, and Corey were having our own more or less session. There's quite a few others there, and we were all having some decent wars and stuff. And Corey West is 400 plus pounds and basically unstoppable. It's going to be fun watching him and Cody Barrett go at it this weekend. But we got playing around, and I think Mike had Corey broke down just a little bit, and we pulled one. And it's training, it's practice. I should have reminded myself it was practice. And he got me down, he beat me, but I felt like, I slowed him down a little bit. So all right, one more try, and then I stopped. We stopped just shy of the pad. He let me come back up, takes me back down almost to the pad, and then I try to pronate out. I try to rotate out,
and he hit.
The movement felt like I was pronating out, but his hand wasn't moving. So I was actually in that compromised position of a half pronation, and he pressed it down. He wasn't trying to do anything damaging. He was just going to finish the match. And there was so much pressure on my part, and the tendons just went. And like the doctor said, he said, after pulling for as many years as I have, it would have probably happened eventually anyhow in a tight match. It didn't matter on the size of the guy. It just happened that day. But he had enough pressure with his size to do it. So 42 years of doing it, your body gets broke down a little bit.
Yeah, you have you're a legend. When you're a legend, nowadays the people using the word legend for too easy, in my point of view, to get this status on to be called as a legend. You need personality. You have to give something for yourself, which is changing the sport which you did. You have long history having bad injuries. I remember that we talk about your first big injury was in Japan at late 90s.
Yeah.
On your right hand. You have a surgery also, which was not quite successful at the beginning. You was almost paralyzed on the right hand, and it took you a lot of time. Then you have a second big injury was on the wall against Todd Hutchins with
Yep.
your pec,
Yep.
and now the left one. We can say you're experienced guy to know how to came back even much stronger after these big injuries. At that particular day that you injure yourself with Corey, is something was giving you signals? Did you work out very hard the previous day, or did you get some signals maybe now? Now, if you go back in the time, the day, the week, that
After thinking about it, I don't know if I did much beforehand. I've been doing more deadlifts and stuff, trying to get an all-around workout. And it was quite a while before then, but I've been doing them, so that might have caused some stress. But I do remember, without even thinking about it at the time, I took some Advil and stuff earlier in the day because my elbow was bothering me on that side. So, maybe it was partially there. There's always little things. My biggest problem is I've been doing this a long time, but I get in it. I have a tendency to get in bad positions and think I can still pull out of them. And usually it's bad positioning that gets you in these trouble spots of getting injuries. I mean, even when I tore my pec with Todd Hutchins, you watch it, he had me way on his side of the table. I had a lot going on in my mind. I was more ornery. I shouldn't even been in that. I should have just pulled out of the match before I got in it because my mind wasn't right. And he got me on his side of the table and my shoulder was way past my arm. I was in such a compromised position, and yeah, best thing I can say is when you do it for a long time, you should know better, but I get in a bad position. I still think I can pull out of it like I could when I was a young kid.
Ron, to be able to pull from this position is part of your life story in the arm wrestling. That's why you're so huge and so big, and everybody consider you, and you have this huge fan base. Is because if you allow me to remind you on your matches against Yoshi Kanai, against Michael Todd, you were also in some strange position, bringing force from angles that the normal guys are definitely gonna have broken bones, but you are still pulling and bringing your opponents. You can see the surprise on the opponents, on the face of your opponents, bringing these angles, which makes you so special. Okay, let's go back from the beginning. So I know a lot of you. I have a lot of information, but we can say you start really with the arm. So you compete in your first tournament was in the 80s, in the beginning of the 80s, but really meeting the world champions and start working out with them. It was the legendary Bert Whitfield.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he passed away. But he was a big, we can say he was your first coach who bring you in the sport of arm wrestling.
Correct.
And at the beginning, 1985, how long does it take for you as a newbie, as a new guy from the sport until you progress? I don't think you got your success overnight. So it took a couple of years, months. Can you tell me more about the beginning?
Yeah, well, like you said, my first tournament ever was in 1980 when I was 18 years old. And naturally, due to my lifestyle, living on a farm and construction with my dad, I naturally was good at it. The variable that is back in the 80s and 90s, it was still basically a strength sport. There was still a lot of hooking. There was a lot of bull to it. There wasn't all the technical stuff there is as of today. So that made my climb easier. And then I went to a few tournaments in Chicago before I moved to Atlanta. In 1985, I moved to Atlanta and went to a small tournament thinking I'd walk through everybody. And my first match was Bert Whitfield, who weighed about 180 pounds. And I only beat him because there was no way I was going to let this smaller guy beat me. And he allowed me, because he was so confident in himself, he allowed me to get everything I wanted. And the joke is, after I beat him in that match, I still didn't win. Dave Randall beat me. Johnny Walker beat me that same day. I went to Bert's practice, and Bert wouldn't let me beat him at all for like 6 weeks. In every practice, he would just beat me to show me he was the man. And it was so impressive. And he finally let me get a couple of wins when he knew I was getting depressed. But everything you did with Bert, you learned something from it. The guy was so far advanced on his knowledge of the sport and the angles already, way ahead of a lot of other people. And then I think I won nationals 3 years later, which actually in the sport of arm wrestling is pretty quick.
Yes.
After I started, nowadays, if you win a nationals 3 years with some of the caliber we had back then, yeah, you did pretty good. So it was a fast climb overall, but in the sport of arm wrestling, from a newbie to then, yeah, it takes quite a while.
Yeah, that's important message for the new people, because the sport is rising in quite good speed, and there's a lot of new people. They are trying to get really fast success, and it's good to see someone like you bringing the message that even you, considering as absolutely talent into the sport, dedicated, even you need 3 years to achieve the national level title. Of course, we have to say that you were your circle of opponent and weight class was so your national champion in United States, which arm wrestling was very, very high at that period of time, probably the highest at that weight. Ron, how your training methods evolved over the year from young age until now? Is something definitely something changed, I guess. Can you tell me more how your training progressed over the years?
My training's always been up and down. I'm not a real dedicated trainer, because there again, I can go back up in my youth. When the first 20 years or so, my lifestyle, my job was involved with lifting heavy objects all day long. I lifted everything from light block to 100-pound blocks all day. So I didn't have to go to the gym. I didn't have to do much. So I went to practice usually once a week, every other week. And then as time moved on, that was probably the first 5 years. I was dedicated to every once a week. And then, life gets going with kids and everything. I was missing a lot. Then, there's ups and downs over 42 years. So my training for arm wrestling has had its peaks and valleys. Usually you can tell when it's at a peak, because then I'm usually doing fairly well. But lately it's probably increased a little more over the last 5 years or so, in part because Angie's in my life and she's very dedicated, a lot more dedicated to training for arm wrestling than I am with the hands and the wrists.
She is great. I follow her in social media, and first of all, she is a great arm wrestler. I would love to see her against a European female arm wrestler. There is a lot of happening in the female arm wrestling. I was last week on a seminar with Todd Hutchins. He was here in Germany. We have some kind of promotion, PNMO, and they are putting matches together, and we have 3 or 4 matches female arm wrestling, and I was really impressed of the level of female arm wrestling, the straight, the technique, the execution, everything was there. And yeah, your wife seems to be very into the hard training, so he's pushing you, right? Did I get it right?
She's going to be pushing harder, because I guess it's not going to be right-handed, but it's going to be a left-handed match. She's going to be pulling Anna Grunland again in Canada in August, left-handed. So her mindset's already, this is 8 months off, and she's already figuring how hard she's going to have to work. So guess, if she works hard, then I'm probably going to have to work hard. So, and I'm hoping if everything goes right, I can be back here in April or something. I've had some minor things, and so maybe I'll get back over there in April I possibly could have went over sooner, but due to Angie's paperwork to get her citizenship down here or her residence, she can't, with papers being filed, she really can't go out of the country at this time. So, and hopefully she can get some more matches. But I know right now we're hoping everything goes through because she's intending to pull Anna again, left-handed up in Canada. So my training will increase with that and with my other goals that I want to do.
So the match is set up for August next year.
Yeah, that'll be August of next year. Yes.
That's a lot of time for preparation.
Time to be committed. I don't like 8 months. That's too far out.
Yeah. But back to your training, Ron. So you're working hard, physical job, working with your body, with your hands, and then having once a week your practice. Then is there some point that you start going to the gym and doing some exercises?
Yeah, we go to the gym. I go to the gym because I don't do the field work the way I used to. I'm project manager and I used to own. So for the last 10, 15 years, basically I haven't done as much lifting. So now I'm trying to transform that into going to the gym and getting the physical work again. But I think back to your main question is how has my training changed is my joke with Angie is I'm the most successful, ignorant arm wrestler out there because I don't understand all these technical things. Me, it used to be just grab, grip, and pull. If I don't beat you, I'm going to get stronger. I'm not going to learn technique because I didn't think there was. And I think when I pulled Zurab, it definitely was a testament that I did find different angles. I did have to look at different angles. And so the last couple of years, especially this year, I'm really starting to look at how to set the hand up. Paul Linn, when Paul Linn beat me at Michael Todd's, I still wore out a lot from the Zurab match, but Paul Linn, we looked at stuff later. Man, he outgot me in the hand setup, which I've never really paid attention to the hand setup. I usually just grab somebody's hand and want to go. And so I'm slowly learning and watching like Devin and a few of these guys and John on how they set up the hands and where they're going with it. Because if they're learning it, I got to learn to counter it. So
we can say that you're one of the blessed people with great genetic and incredible strength for the sport. So that's why you didn't have to pay so much attention to the technical details, and now the sport is getting. We have a powerful puller, and you're getting a little bit older. Then you can start adjusting on the technique. I see the point. Your match with Paul Linn, it takes how many weeks was between your match with Zurab and Paul Linn?
It was 3, but I really didn't do a whole lot, and I still was feeling broke down.
Okay. Maybe for the audience, it's very important to say if you didn't watch the match Ron against Zurab from East versus West, it was 4 or 3 East versus West, I guess 4. This is from the new history of arm wrestling, is one of the most entertaining matches. It took 40-50 minutes super match, and it was a war. It was a war every second.
Yep, that it was. I left everything I had on that table, but I still had to do something different to get the win. But just like Zurab, he made a comment, and I forgot all about it. He made a comment right before he pulled John, or after that, he had COVID right before my match. Well, I had COVID the same time period that he had. I was in bed for 3 days, just I think 3 weeks before I went to Turkey. I just totally forgot about it. And so I think it might have taken a little bit off each of us. So we were uneven. But Zurab was just a war. That's probably the one match I didn't win, but come the next day, I actually felt fulfilled. I just knew I gave everything I had, and I still didn't win it. But at the same time, I think I won the hearts of a lot of the people in the crowd.
Yeah, I think you won the crowd at the end. that stays in the history of arm wrestling as one of the most brutal matches. How was the mental side of this? You didn't show, you have a great poker face, so you didn't show suffering. So of course it was hard for you. You were sweating and everything else, but you were very dedicated to keep going, keep pushing, and I think it ends up in this position. Could you try something else or
after the facts, yeah, there's probably some things I could have tried different. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening to. Yeah.
Now, after watching, John pull him and who else pulled him? Chance Shaw pulled him, and Chance did that low hand and stuff. So maybe there was some other angles I could have tried, but I'm not that comfortable with them. So I'd probably have to learn a few more. The one I saw John, instead of me trying to come up over and pressing, because his shoulder arm, every time I would try to press it down, my elbow would pop up. And John would just sit here and wait until he got in tight enough and just press him down without going over top of his arm. And Chance with the low hand. So there's some things I probably could have did a little different, especially round 3 when it was a turning point. I think that's one I was trying to press and make a move, and I bumped the elbow, and they called me on it. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't the elbow coming up, I think I could have won that 3-0. But after that, I started going this way, and he could feel it. You could see him getting a little more fired up. Round 1 and 2, he looked a little concerned. Yeah. Round 3, he was starting to look a little more that he had a chance. And that's where you want your opponent to start thinking they had a chance, and he did. He came back and got the other 2 wins. But yeah, like I said, I just put it all out on the line, and I don't need to hold anything back, and I don't need to show any frustration. But
no, it was a great match. Do you after you were frustrated when you made the big mistakes, and it was a great match. It was so tight. You won the first two rounds when you were fresh, and that's we're talking about the young guy in his peak age and form. WAF world champion, absolutely ready in 100 kg. But Ron, back to your beginning with the time with Bert. If you came new to the sport, your natural move was hook, top row.
Yeah. My natural move when I started working on with Bert Whitfield was a hook. I just wanted to get everybody in a hook. Yeah. All right. I don't think she needed that call. Sorry about that. How do my armpits look?
No problem. It looks massive.
So when I started working on with Bert Whitfield, Dave Randall, a local super heavyweight, well, at that time he was same weight class, was working on. Dave was naturally a top roller, and Bert Whitfield taught Dave how to hook more and taught me how to top roll more. So then within about 2 years, I became more natural top roll, and Dave became a hook. We both just transformed, even though we both can do the stuff we have. So Bert Whitfield's the one who taught me how to top roll. And back then we would do more, use the upper knuckle right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. The low hand top, if you got your hand like this, if you had your hand like this for like a low hand that they all want to do now, that was unheard of. You wanted to pulse high, you have your, as so-called today, your riser high, and you wanted to use that knuckle right there. I'd point with my other hand, but I got to hold the phone with it. So, you wanted to bring them straight back to you instead of just rotating over top of them. But he did a great job of teaching me the top roll and how to hook in.
So you're a natural hooker, and he brings you to the top roll. So you learn both. And your press move you develop over the time?
The greatest move?
Your pressing, your famous pressing.
That's called desperation. Yeah, the press. I don't even know how I really even developed the press as much. It just, you know, it comes to you because when you practice, you know, pulling and you feel that you can get up behind it, you don't want to do it. You can't do it real fast if you're coming from a.
It's a finishing move more than when the boat.
You feel your opponent out and just slowly sneak up behind it, and then when you feel the right time, you jump up and push it down. Probably I had to do that to beat John Brzezinski most of the time because I wasn't just going to pull him straight to the pad. I had to wait till he stalled out enough and I could get around behind it. And so then whenever I get to a point, it's nothing I really train for. I don't train a press in practice. I train mainly top roll and hook. But during a match, I will press.
Yes, that your instinct seems to be very right. If there is a battle on the table, so you're getting the real instincts, when to press, when is the right moment, how to press. So going to the gym now, later in your career, starting with do you have some exercise? Can you give me some gym records? Are you benching? What are you doing in the gym if you go there? What are Rombat's favorite exercises for arm wrestling in the gym?
For arm wrestling, probably everything with cables. I got to really enjoy doing deadlifts though. I wanted to try to get up to 500 without straps, and I'm just shy of that. But now with the setback of the bicep, I might be backing off of that. I don't go for PRs. I couldn't tell you what my personal best is on anything. We both love doing pull-ups of different natures. I'll do pull-ups and then I'll curl my legs up and put a weight on my lap and do pull-ups, or we strap weights to us and do pull-ups. And
also rope climbing. I saw some ropes.
Yeah, we got ropes and stuff in the yard. I don't do as much ropes as Angie does. She does more than I do. But I'll probably be starting to incorporate a little more of that because as my comeback comes, if I'm going to keep arm wrestling, I'm going to specify a lot more stuff to arm wrestling again, especially the training of technique. But I was talking with a few other people with all the rehab possible, this and a couple guys from Utah. I'm going to back off my weights and do more reps in the gym and see how that plays out.
Ron, are your pushing or pulling movements stronger, or they're equal?
Probably about equal. I mean, I don't have a great bench press, but probably better than the average guy my age. But pulling is probably what I'd prefer to do. You know, anything pulling on straps or cables or anything like that. I love doing rows and different things for my lats. I love working my lats a lot. But as far as a designated workout in the gym, it's usually go to the gym and what do I feel like doing that I didn't do yesterday. So.
And do you have some exercises for your health, trying to keep the balance in your body for shoulder, for example, the shoulder, they're getting a lot of internal rotation. So do you working on something to keep your shoulder healthy?
Yeah, we've been doing more and more shoulder type lifts and workouts, and a lot of negatives and stuff like that, and just whatever works that incorporates it. So a lot of stretching. Do a lot more stretching now than I used to. And I do a lot of planking, different types of planks, just keep my core healthy. But overall, I'm in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you look amazing. You look good. You look very strong and healthy. Doing a lot of stretching. That's very interesting. I don't have a lot of arm wrestlers who in our community seems to be stretching something very unusual to do. We are too lazy, I guess, to stretch. But then when we start missing the flexibility on our tendons, then it's probably better to start stretching at the beginning. I mean, in the beginning of the career, not at the beginning of the training.
Yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs with stretching, but probably since my pec, I probably now even increase it more because you do have to keep your tendons stretched and limber. And I think diet's a big one. We do a lot of vitamin and mineral supplementations. You know, there's more to staying fit than just being in the gym and table time for arm wrestling. You also to be at 60 and still be going strong. What all the rumors want to say, they can fly. No, vitamins and minerals are probably the top thing in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ron, we talk about straight, we talk about technique. What about the mental part of the game? Then a lot of new guys facing the first tournaments, they are very nervous, they are very insecure. How important, how many percentage of success of the success at arm wrestling table you're going to on the mental straight and the preparation?
Mental is possibly one of the biggest things out there, because if you're not mentally prepared, you're not gonna win. If you go to the table thinking you're gonna lose, you're probably gonna lose. You have to think win all the time. You need to probably, like, the week or two before, depending on the level of the match, at least 10 days. I don't quit lifting and I don't quit arm wrestling, but I'll do a lot of ghost pulling. I'll be thinking about what I need to do for my opponent to try to do what I can do. Like with Zurab, I've just practiced there again, probably mostly just holding and Thor and just trying to get it to me. But you just simulate in your mind what you're going to do with your opponent the week or so before. I mean, you definitely do while you're training, but at that point you're still just lifting and table time. But yeah, the mindset is big. You definitely got to always think you can beat your opponent.
Yeah, that's sometimes if you watch the interviews of the athletes in the press conference, I have the feeling sometimes I can pick the winner even before the match is happening. You can see the confidence, you can see the fear in the face of the people, and a lot of people maybe don't know, but you can work out even that. You can work out your confidence, your preparation, mental. You can you have visualization and so many techniques. So for a big match, you are stopping exercising 2 weeks before, I guess, or
not necessarily stop completely. I back way off the weight type deal, and definitely back off of any type of real serious arm wrestling. You know, I'll do like blood flow work, just something real light and simulate.
Deload the.
No, nothing real heavy and crazy. No, not 10 days or 2 weeks before. You're not going to get any stronger. The biggest thing you might do is hurt yourself more. But I can't quit doing anything either, because if I take too much time off, then I just get too stiff, and mentally I'll lose mentally if I don't do something. Because back to the mental part of the game, if you're not confident about your workout, what you're doing for your opponent, you're not going to have the confidence you need to go into that match.
Very legit point. Yes. Okay. What do you know about Bulgaria? I'm from Bulgaria, live in Germany, but
maybe you tell me about Bulgaria.
Yeah, Bulgaria is famous that it's a small country near Turkey. You're flying to Istanbul, and in north is Bulgaria, and we have very strong and good arm wrestlers. Some of them, maybe you know about Krasimir Kostadinov, Cvetan Gashevsky, Sashko Andreev, and many others, world champions. Yeah, it's a small country with only 7 million people, but a lot of passion for straight, for classic wrestling, boxing, arm wrestling. Use typical East-European sports, which straight is involved.
Yeah.
I would love, me personally, I would love to see you pulling Krasimir Kostadinov. I think it's a great matchup, and I think you're right.
That's been mentioned a few times, so it might be pretty fun.
Might be pretty fun, and it's gonna be a great match, and I definitely am gonna enjoy it. Let's see what Engin is gonna decide. Talking about Engin, East versus West experience. Did you enjoy your debut in East versus West?
Oh, it was an awesome event. It was the country, Turkey's awesome. It's great. England treats everybody great when you're there. The event was top notch. He definitely he doesn't hold anything back when he's putting it all together. And I think each event gets better all the time. He's putting more into it, and he's learning. He's not afraid to take advice and move forward. And he's got a great vision. I love what he does. And he puts together some awesome matches.
Awesome matches. It's so entertaining. It's like a Christmas and birthday on the same day when we have a East versus West event. It's a great moment. I really enjoy it. Do you have some opponents in mind that you like to pull in the future?
No. Whoever they put me against.
If you're ready to go.
Now, I don't know. I know of them. I know about all these, but I don't follow enough of each individual one to say I really love to pull him. At this point in my life, I just want somebody different that I haven't really pulled before. I get people say, you want to pull Matt Mask or Devin or John. I've pulled those guys enough. I want to pull somebody different. So Krasi would be a good pull. We'll see. I know Engin, I just talked the other day. He said we'll come up with somebody together who I like to pull. So maybe, and it would be good.
So Ron, you're easy to have a match because you don't have a preference. Give me somebody, and I'm gonna pull him. I asked the same question Todd Hutchins last weekend here in Germany, and he's exactly ready to go. Just give me an opponent.
All right. If you really want to know, I want Levan. Somebody's got to knock him off the podium. Let's go. I just want the same diet.
Oh, what is your take on Levan? Did you watch Of course, you watched Devon against Levan. What do you think?
Levan's he almost says taking himself out of the ballpark. To me, there's just nobody physically strong enough to pull with him right now. I know me and John talked this weekend. There's talk of him pulling Ermes, and Ermes might be able to find a little angle. I think he has more of a chance of finding an angle and getting hurt than he does at this point. Maybe in a couple of years, I don't know. Ermes is definitely moving up, but the guy's just so beastly strong and huge. I really don't know. So.
In January, you're gonna see the debut of one Bulgarian athlete, heavyweight. He won the world title in Antalya this year, Georgi Tsvetkov. He was pulling at WAF. He pulled against Levan many times. He has some losses and some wins over Levan. But it was for many years now. Georgi is gonna face Jerry Carduret. You know very well Jerry. It's gonna. I think from the size, it's very interesting match. It's gonna be interesting, but Georgi has some potential to probably. Let's see. let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron, maybe some last question for you, and I think I don't want to take too much time of your day. What is Ron Butt doing in his free time? Do you have any?
I don't have free time. I'm
You
either
don't have
working
a free time.
or we're out dancing in the cars.
Dancing in the car and singing.
No, I don't sing too much. You better not be showing me singing. Those are the no ones. If I'm caught singing, it's no, don't put it on there. Or I did, but I don't think she's posted that one yet. But we definitely have some good times. Usually it's free time to watch a movie. Just sit on the back porch and have a tea or something like that. But nothing too extravagant. But we're on the go a lot. I think we got a practice in Alabama this weekend, one next weekend, then Christmas. So we're either working or off on some adventure somewhere.
So you're every weekend on the way to some practice and stay active.
Not every weekend. This was, for some reason, it's been really quiet for practices, but now I got two practices in Alabama that are being mentioned. But Georgia's gotten really quiet with practice. So no, we haven't had no real formal practices around the area in quite a while. So I mean, last weekend we were off doing the stem cells, so we had a little training there. I didn't do much. Angie did because my arm's still messed up. A while back ago with Michael Todd. So we don't just sit at home practice. We travel around to go practice.
Is there something interesting happening in the US from promotion side? Is there any interesting super matches, events putting in the US or?
The Monster Factory's having some next weekend. That's where we're going to see Corey West pull Cody Merritt left-handed. That should be very interesting. We got, I think, Paul Linn pulling Pavlo.
Whoa, this big Russian dude.
Yeah, he's big. The key there is going to be Paul Linn beat me just about a year ago. And Pavlo, I pulled him twice over the last couple of years, and he's never beaten me. So, but both are beasts. That should be a very good match. I'm interested locally. I might see if I can get the winner at the Monster Factory. But we'll worry about that down the road.
Are you gonna be live there? Are you gonna drive to the?
No, I'm not going there. I'm not driving there to watch it. I'm going to watch it on the Monster Factory YouTube channel. Check it out. Anybody who sees it. There's about 4 or 5 other good matches there. I think, Michael Todd's actually going to pull left-handed, Pavlo, left-handed. So, and Pavlo's left is probably better than his right, from what I've seen lately. So that should be there should be some good ones. So they are having some super matches in the States, but not as much as we'd like to see.
Okay. Is very interesting that we still have matches also in US, and interesting one, really interesting. I'm gonna check it definitely. Salute to Michael doing this work and organizing it. Ron, is there some point of your career that your left hand overtake the right, or excluding injuries? Or your right is naturally the stronger arm, was always the stronger arm?
My right's always been the stronger arm, but most tournaments are mostly right. Most super matches are mostly right. I've won worlds. I've won WAF with my left. I've won other things with my left, but it's not as coordinated as my right. So I sort of stay away from it, but it usually does fairly well, especially if I train it. If I train, then it's all right. But like this whole sport, if you're not naturally a left-handed puller, most of your practice is done with your right hand. So it keeps it. I think Matt Mass, somebody asked him a question if he pulled right and left. He said, yeah, because you can't go swimming and swim in a circle. So I feel the same way. I feel the main reason I work my left out, and there is a difference yet. I work them out together, so at least I don't look that different. I know a guy, he only pulls right hand, and his right arm is way bigger than his left arm. And so I try to keep them somewhat even. So yeah, I pull left, and I'll probably, I pulled Mike pretty good left-handed right before I popped that tendon pulling Corey. So yeah, my left's not bad.
I know that your left is very strong, and that's why I asked the question if you're hidden lefty, a person who is writing with the left hand, but that's not the case. Ron,
right now, my biggest dilemma is going to be, this is my third injury. I really feared getting injured again, and being older, and I told even Ingen that I got to get through the practice, because if I can't pull 100% when I'm at the table, and I do it with my right. If I go in the press and I feel pressure, I did it with Zurab. I went in the press and felt pressure, and I back off
because of the pec.
Yeah, because and so you can't have hindrance when you're pulling in the elite level. Mm-hmm. I'll overcome it. It's just going to take a little time. The right feels good. I mean, I was pulling with guys and holding them this weekend and letting them pull all over on it. So I'm not too worried about that. My left, I'm just take my time and see where it comes back to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love to pull WAF again. WAF or the IFA, I'm not sure. We want to go pull and win some more world titles, probably more on my level, the old folks, but I'm a pretty challenging guy, so
you're too strong. You're too strong.
I'd probably go and do the seniors anyhow, just to see what young guys have.
That would be amazing if you show up on the WAF Worlds. That's gonna be sensation to see you there.
There's talk of us. Hopefully, if all her paperwork gets done and finalized, we have time to make those decisions. Yeah, there's a good chance you'll see us at one of the.
This year in Antalya, it was a great US team. There are a lot of competitors there, and it was great. Ron, last question.
Sure.
What would you give us as advice for the new arm wrestler starting the sport now?
Patience.
Patience.
A lot of Advil, a lot of ice, and put in the time. And if they're coming in and they want to become a world champ or a national champ in a short period of time of like 3 years or so, it's not going to happen. You got to go for the ride. Like I'd like to tell a lot of people, enjoy the ride. Just see where it takes you. Do it for the camaraderie. Do it for everything except these. You got to set goals. But you don't want to set that goal so high that you get in this big hurry and the first setback kicks you out of the sport. If you love the sport, just stay with it. It'll take you to where you're supposed to go if you stay with it and stay focused. It might be 4, 5, 6 years before you get to that national title or a world title. And I know some people that have been pulling 20 years have never won one, but they just love the people and the camaraderie so much they keep doing it. So for the young guys, be patient, put in the time, and try everything you can to stay healthy. And don't cheat, and don't king's move.
Great. Great words from the legend, Ron Butt. Thank you very much, sir. It was an honor for me to have the opportunity to speak with you. You're a big inspiration for me. I'm 20 years into the sport, and you are my inspiration. And this episode is going to be called not Champions DNA. The name of this episode is going to be Legends DNA. And this is the first episode of the Legends DNA. And there will be not many episodes called Legends DNA.
I appreciate it. As you said, there's too many being called legends too fast.
Absolutely.